Hi and welcome. I'm your host, Paul, and this is the Property Side Hustle podcast, the show where we dive into property strategies, making money, building real long-term wealth right here in the UK, but without the need for property guru courses and stupidly expensive property training. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to be brutally honest. Because here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud. Most property courses are designed to extract the maximum amount of money from you, but they are not designed to help you succeed. Now, I'm well aware that you might be considering property education right now. And I'm also very aware that you might have already paid out money to one of those big name companies or trainers that was all over your social media feeds. And look, I'm not here to make you feel bad, but I am here to open your eyes to what's really going on behind the scenes with property education in the UK. Now, because I've been in the game for a long time, just over 20 years now, and I've seen all of the tactics these training companies use. I've watched people get burned, and I've even picked up the pieces when people come to me after spending 20 grand, 30 grand, sometimes even more than that on property courses that left them without nothing at all, but maybe they've got some new property friends and a shed load of debt. So grab a brew, grab a coffee, whatever your tipple is, whatever you're drinking, grab a beer, grab a wine, grab a cocktail. I don't know what time of day it is you're watching this, because this one's going to get a little bit spicy. We're going to talk about the dark arts used by UK property trainers and property gurus. I'll also be talking about why group coaching doesn't work for most people out there, and what real property education should look like, and most importantly, how to spot the red flags before you waste your hard-earned cash. And before we get into today's podcast, I just want to say that in a few weeks' time, we're in discussions at the moment, but in a few weeks' time, hopefully, I will be having a special guest join me on the podcast, a former contestant from the BBC's The Apprentice TV show. They're going to be joining me. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things, property related, finance related, business related, mindset, all sorts of things. And there's more on that soon. But for today, let's dive into today's podcast. Right. Let's start with the business model, because once you understand how these big property training companies make their money, everything else will make sense. It could be one of those scenarios where the penny drops and you go, I never thought about it like that before. So listen in. Here's how it typically works. You see an ad on Facebook or Instagram, some guru standing in front of a Lamborghini or a fancy house telling you how they made their millions in property, and they want to teach you how to do the same. You book the free webinar, and on that webinar, they spend 90 minutes showing you their lifestyle, their success stories, and then right at the end, they pitch you their training, their course. Usually, it's somewhere between £10,000 and £20,000, crazy money. And now you're thinking, well, that's a lot of money, but they've got an answer for that. They say, well, you make that back on your first deal, or they'll offer you a payment plan or offer you a special offer and a bit of a discount to get you in. So you sign up, you're excited, you're ready to change your life. And what do you get? You get access to a members area with a bunch of pre-recorded videos. You get invited to a Facebook group maybe with 500 other people or 1,000 other people who are just as confused as you are. And then you get group coaching calls once a week with 50 other people on that call, minimum, all trying to ask questions. And you are lucky if you get 5 minutes of attention or even get your question answered at all. And that person teaching you, they're not the guru that you saw in the ad. They're probably an ex-student or an employee of that training company who maybe learned the strategy 6 months ago or a year ago, and they've maybe done a handful of deals themselves. After 12 months, your access to all of that runs out. It's gone. And guess what? You haven't done a deal yet. You're stuck, you're confused, and you don't know what to do next. So what do? What does the property trainer do? Well, they sell you their advanced course for another 10 grand or their mentorship upgrade for 15 grand plus. It's a business model designed to keep you buying, not to help you succeed. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not saying all property courses are bad. There are some good ones out there, but the vast majority, they're designed to maximize revenue via upselling, high ticket programs, and more courses. They just upsell. They're not designed to have you generate results. And here's the thing that really gets me. These companies out there know that most people won't succeed. They've done the maths. Their business model relies on this. They've done the maths. They know that out of every 100 people who buy their course, maybe 5 or 10 people will actually do a deal and make some money. But they don't care about that because they've already got your money. And when you don't succeed, they'll blame you. They'll say you didn't take action. They'll say you didn't implement it correctly. They'll say you didn't want it badly enough. But the reality is, the system was never designed to help you succeed in the first place. Right, so let's talk about group coaching, because this is one of the biggest scams in the property education industry. And all of the big property trainers do it, all of the gurus do it. Now, don't get me wrong, group coaching can work for some people. If you are self-motivated, if you're good at figuring things out on your own, if you don't need much hand-holding, then yeah, group coaching might be okay for you. But for most people, it's not. It's a disaster. So let me paint you a picture. You run a group coaching call with 50 other people. You've got a question about a property deal that you're working on at the minute. You need some specific advice. And you need someone to look at your numbers, give you a second opinion, tell you if the deal makes sense. But the problem is, you're one of 50 people. You might get to ask a question and the coach there will, or the mentor will give you a generic answer. And that feedback might be, yeah, that sounds good. Just make sure you do your homework. Make sure you double check your numbers. Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, really helpful. I hadn't thought about checking my numbers again. Now, I've had people tell me that they paid 20K and then they sat around a round table with 12 other people. And that's pretty much what the mentor in the room said to them. Something along those lines. Next time, make sure your numbers are better. Seriously. Honestly, you cannot believe that this goes on, but it does. Now, in group settings, you also get these scenarios where the other people are all in there, sitting in that group, bored out of their minds because your question doesn't apply to them. And when it's their turn, you're bored because their question doesn't apply to you. It's inefficient, it's frustrating, and it doesn't actually help you move forwards with any sort of momentum at all. Now, compare that to one-on-one coaching. You've got someone's full attention. They can deep dive into your specific situation. They can look at your numbers with you. They can talk about your strategy, your goals. They can give you tailored advice that actually helps you. Now, that's the difference. And that's why I only do one-on-one coaching with my mentees these days. Any group stuff that I do is more of a community event in addition to the one-on-one time with myself. But here's why the big training companies out there don't do one-to-one coaching, because it doesn't scale. They can't charge 500 people 15 grand each and then give them all one-to-one support. The maths doesn't work. There's not enough of them to coach enough people one-to-one. So instead, what they do is they stick you all into a big group or a big room and they give you generic advice and they help you figure it out on your own. Now, that might be the penny drop moment for some of you. This is a money-making machine and your success is not at the very core of what they are offering you. Revenue and profits are what is most important to them. And as long as some people do okay and make some money, then that's great. And they can be used as examples that it works. And then the cycle continues again and again. And here's another thing about group coaching, actually, that nobody talks about out there. The quality of the people in the group is massively varied because you've got a group with maybe 500 people. Some of them are very serious. Some of them are just tire kickers and looking to get rich quick. And some of them are asking the same basic questions over and over again because they haven't even watched the course videos. And you're supposed to learn from that environment. You're supposed to get value from that environment. Seriously, it's like trying to learn how to swim in a pool full of people who are also drowning all around you. Now, I'm not saying community isn't valuable. It is. Having a network of like-minded people is incredibly important. But there's a difference between a high-quality, curated community and then a Facebook group just full of people who paid 15 grand and are now desperately trying to justify that investment with little to no guidance on what their next steps are. Right, so let's get into the really spicy stuff, the dark tactics that these property gurus use to separate you from your money. And look, I'm going to name some of these tactics because I want you to be able to spot them when you see them, and you will see them. Now, number one is lifestyle porn. Now, if the guru spends more time showing you their cars, their watches, their holidays than they do actually teaching you, then that's a huge red flag. Because here's the thing, real wealth is quiet. People who've genuinely made lots of money in property don't need to flash it in your face every 5 seconds. It's not what they're using in their marketing. They're too busy actually doing deals and making more money and focusing on more important things. And they don't feel the need to crave attention because of what they've managed to purchase. Red flag number 2, the fake urgency. This offer ends tonight. Only 5 spots left. If you don't sign up now, you're going to miss out forever. It's all BS. It's all absolute BS. Now, these courses run every single month. There's always another intake. The urgency is fake, and it's designed to pressure you into making a buying decision before you've even had time to think it through and properly think things over. And if you turn up to next month's webinar, I can guarantee you will see the same exact offer with the same sort of prices. Now, for transparency, I do only ever have limited places and spots available. And you could say, well, that's the same thing, Paul, come on. But that's down to me working with every client and supporting them one-to-one. I cannot physically take on limitless numbers of people. So I only open up access for new members at times and, when I can. And then I close access at other times. And it's on a first come, first served basis. It's the only way I can operate effectively if I limit my clients. And I only open up my diary when my diary allows me to book some more people in, when I've got some space. And I then offer places out. When my diary's full and I'm busy with clients, you can't join. How can I take you on? I cannot take you on if I'm busy. So in terms of total transparency, I might say there's so many places left. That's because there's so many places left. It's not a selling technique. That's a deadline or a limited offer with integrity. Now, what the gurus do is use aggressive selling techniques over and over again to have a constant stream of paying customers, all signing up daily on various different special offers. So red flag number 3, the clickbait guru videos that you see on social media. Now, a lot of what you see on social media is utter nonsense, designed to make you think that they have the answer and nobody else does because it's their secret. Now, I've seen some property trainers talk absolute nonsense and people just drink this stuff in. Honestly, they drink it in and accept it as fact. When the truth is, that video that they just watched was designed purely for clicks or to get sales and to hook people in to see their offer. Because anyone can stand in front of a camera and say that they can make you financially free in 7 days, but it doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. If it sounds like rubbish, then guess what? It probably is rubbish. No matter how good that video seems, the better it seems and the more you feel hyped up and excited, there's a very high probability that you just got influenced and it works. And red flag number 4, the trainer who happens to be an ex-student. You sign up thinking you're going to be taught by the person that you saw in the advert or the property guru or the big name that you've been following, but instead you get taught by someone who is just an ex-student of that company and they like being on stage and talking and they've employed them and they use them as a mouthpiece. Now, why would you learn to fly a plane from someone who's only flown it a handful of times? You wouldn't. You just wouldn't, would you? I definitely wouldn't. So why would you learn property from someone who's only been doing it for a year? These gurus and training companies think they can play the, if they did this course and they're now really successful, then it means this course gives you that result and it works. That's what they want you to think if you're hearing from or you're listening to some training from an ex-student. They want you to think, well, they've done the course and now look at them. Wow, it's clever. Now, here's the thing. These tactics work, and that's why they keep using them. They work on good, intelligent people who just want to change their lives. And I get it. I understand the appeal. I really do. You're stuck in a job you hate. You're working 50 hours a week. You're barely making ends meet as it is. And then you see this person stood on a stage or on a webinar and telling you that you can make £10,000 a month in property and quit your day job inside 6 months and change your life. Of course you want to believe it. Of course you're tempted by it. But here's what they don't tell you. Property takes time. It takes work. It takes learning. And there are no shortcuts or hacks that will fast track your results in the ways that they suggest. And anyone who tells you otherwise is honestly, it's just BS. They're lying to you. Now, the gurus sell property as get rich quick. And I'm more of a realist. And what I say to people is, yes, property is amazing and you can make some serious wealth, but it's less get rich quick and more like get rich quicker than the day job. And I kind of like that saying because it is true. It is based on truth. If you want to get rich quick and that's your kind of mentality, honestly, I've said it before, I'll say it again, go and buy a lottery ticket. Go and play the lottery and cross your fingers and hope it's going to be you, because that's the only way you get rich quick. In property, you can get rich quicker than your day job. That's the truth. So if most property courses are rubbish, what should real property education actually look like? Well, let me tell you what I believe based on my many years in the property sector. Now, here's what no one tells you about property education. You don't need to spend £20,000 to learn this stuff. First of all, real property education should be personalized. It should be tailored to your specific situation, your goals, your budget, your risk tolerance, your personality. Because here's the thing, what works for me might not work for you. What works for someone with 100 grand in the bank right now might not work for someone starting out with £10,000 or less. So cookie cutter courses that are one size fits all information that teach everyone the same things in the same way, they're just utterly useless for most people. Second, real property education should be ongoing, not 12 months, and then you're on your own. Property is constantly changing. Regulations change, the market changes, strategies evolve, opportunities change based on market conditions. You need ongoing support. You need someone that you can call when things go wrong, because trust me, things will go wrong. Third, real property education should be practical, not just theory, not just watching videos. You need to be doing deals with someone guiding you through that process. And that's how you actually learn. That's how you build your confidence. That's how you avoid making expensive mistakes. And finally, real property education should be affordable, not the cost of a house deposit, not 20,000 quid, not 30,000 quid. Because if you're spending that much on education, you've probably got no money left to actually invest in property. And here's something else that real property education should include: accountability. Because let's be honest, most people don't fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because they don't do it. They get stuck, they get scared, they overthink, they procrastinate. And that's where a good mentor comes in. Someone who's going to hold you accountable, someone who's going to give you a kick up the backside when you need it, someone who's going to say, right, you've been talking about this deal for 3 weeks, make the offer or move on. Let's do this. That's what actually gets results. It's the action part, it's the execution. And that is critical to getting what you want out of property. Critical. Right, so let's get practical. How do you actually spot the red flags before you hand over your hard-earned cash? Now, before you spend 15,000 quid on a property course, ask these 5 questions. They'll save you a fortune. Question 1, who's actually going to be teaching me? Not who's in the marketing videos, who's actually going to be on the coaching calls, what's their experience, how many deals have they done? If they can't give you a straight answer, walk away. If it's an ex-student or a hired mouthpiece, then move on. Question 2, what happens after 12 months? Do you get lifetime access to support, or are you just on your own after 12 months or 6 months? Because if it's the latter, you're going to end up buying their advanced course, and that's exactly what they want you to do from day one. They count on you buying more training when you struggle. Question 3, can I speak to some of your successful students? Not testimonials on the website, not reviews. Can I speak to an actual person that has done your training? Can I have a phone call with them? If they won't let you do that and they're not willing to pass that information on, that's a massive red flag. If they have success, if they have students, who've done good things, they should be able to pass on somebody's details that can have a phone call with you. Question 4, what's the total cost? not just the upfront cost. What are the upsells? What are the additional courses they're going to try to sell you? Get the full picture before you commit. I'd be surprised if it's less than 15 grand for most trainers in the UK. And that still won't get you lifetime support one-to-one because, as far as I'm aware, nobody offers that true one-to-one support forever. And here's one more thing. Trust your gut. If something feels off, if the sales tactics feel too aggressive, too pushy, if you feel pressured into deciding something, if the promises sound too good to be true, listen to that feeling because your gut is usually right. So if this is the minefield that's out there when you're looking for property education, then what should you do? You're probably sat there now thinking, oh my God, where do I start then? What do I do? Well, you could buy every property book that there is. There's loads of property books out there. Some are good, some are not so good. Some are written by gurus just to say they're an author. And you've got to pick through. So make sure you're reading the right books. So you could buy every book out there. You could follow investors instead of gurus or trainers and try to come up with your own path, your own processes based on that information that you have. Will that be easy and more cost effective? No, absolutely not. You're heading into learning territory again instead of thinking about how to execute the information. Execution is what you need help with. How to make decisions on deals, projects, how to problem solve, how to maximize the profit in a deal, how to make money and not just get stuck in a never-ending cycle of learning new things, but never taking any real action. So let me explain to you what changes that and how I work with my clients. And this is not a pitch at all. I honestly just want to save as many people out there as possible from wasting 15K plus or more on property education. So listen up to this part very carefully. It could change everything for you. Now, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you do not need to spend 20 grand to learn how to make money in property. And the first reason to choose Property Accelerator, which is my program, is because with me, it's one-to-one. You get my full attention. We work on your specific deals, your specific goals, your specific challenges. And I create my clients a personalized weekly plan that they focus on to help them attack their own goals. And the result is my clients always know what to do and when and how. And my second reason is it's lifetime access, not just for 12 months. I give you lifetime access to me and my support for a one-off fee. And no, I don't upsell you onto more and more programs because this is the only program you will ever need. Because property is a long-term game and I stick with you every step of the way. I think that's only fair. That's only fair, isn't it? And let me ask you this question. If I give you all the knowledge that you could ever need, and then I give you all the support and personal help and guidance that you could ever need, ask yourself this. How on earth could you fail if you had all the knowledge and all the help and support? How could you fail? And the third reason is it's affordable. Now, I'm not going to tell you the exact price right here on the podcast, but you can find it on the link in the podcast description. Just click the link in the podcast description or below. But it's a fraction of what the big training companies charge in the UK. In fact, we are up to 80% more affordable than the most expensive property training program out there when we're talking about mentorship, that is. Now, fourth, and finally, I'm honest with you. I'll tell you when a deal doesn't make sense. I'll tell you when you're not ready to do something. I'll tell you when you need to slow down or if you need to speed things up. I'll help with the accountability, with confidence building, and with helping you where you need it most. And plus, what other mentorship gives you the chance to chat one-on-one about everything that's on your mind, warts and all, property, investing, business, mindset, life, your goals, your struggles, your wins, what to do when you make money, what to do next, how to grow that pot. My conversations that I have with my clients are very often very open, very honest, and they're designed to help you get the most out of every day, every week, every month. Now, I've got countless mentees I've helped over the past 6+ years go from day job to property or just helping people realize their goals in property and business. Like Kushal, who joined me after wasting money with a property guru, rent-to-rent trainer years ago. With me, we changed focus and he became a very skilled and savvy HMO investor who's now completed multiple projects and quit his day job. Or there's Alex, who joined me and we focused on joint ventures. After one project, he went full-time in property, quit the day job, and he's now even employed his brother to help him with the workload because he's so damn busy doing JVs with new investors. Or like Rian, who joined a few years back, lovely lady down in South Wales, and she's grown and extended her own BRRR portfolio down there in South Wales. And then there's Maz, who weirdly lives not too far away from Rian, who has used investor finance to complete her first few projects. And they've been so successful, her investor begs her to do another and to go again. And, that's just amazing. And then we've got Jack and Jonty, who they targeted a unique strategy that we put together in London, central London, and they made tens of thousands of pounds doing that before pivoting into a new area, which is development focused, which I'm super excited about for that. And there's countless other clients that I've worked with over the past 6 years, and we're all chasing the goals with me right now. And I love being part of their stories and their businesses. That's why I do what I do. I love it. And I could charge them all 20 grand a pop, but money is not my motivation with this. Having an impact on people's lives and businesses is much more important to me. Now, don't get me wrong, time is money, and I don't do this for free, obviously. There is a charge to work with me, but I feel like my fees for Property Accelerator are very fair when compared to all the other property training options out there when it comes down to mentorship in the UK. And look, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying my mentorship is the best or is right for everyone or is right for you. But what I'm saying is that there's a better way than spending 20 grand on a group coaching program that leaves you high and dry after 12 months. So let's wrap this up. I hope this episode of the podcast has been a bit of an eye-opener for just one person. And if that's happened, then fantastic. But sometimes, the truth needs to be said. If I've saved one person from listening to this podcast, watching this podcast, from spending tens of thousands on a course that just wasn't necessary, then I'm happy. I am very, very happy. I do not want to hear another client tell me, Paul, I wish I'd found you sooner before I wasted money on this course or that course, or I've spent tens of thousands and got nowhere. And if you're serious about finding a mentorship program, then Property Accelerator might be right for you. Head on over to the website. The link is in the show notes below, and you can book a free, no obligation chat with me. Let's have a chat on the phone, and let's see if we're a good fit. That's all for this week's episode. I'll be back next week with another one. But until then, take care, stay safe, and take it easy. And remember, don't believe the hype. Do your homework and protect your wallet. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next Monday.